Namaste and welcome to everybody. Welcome to the audiences. Wonderful to have you back on Healyam Talks. I'm Ameeta, the Helium Initiative founder, and today we are here once again with a very interesting personality in the space of fitness. Before we get to introducing Guru Suraj to you, I'd like to share with you what Helium Talks is about. Helium Talks is an interview series that I started 2 months ago that explores the mindsets of the world's best healers, the world's spiritual light workers, health and fitness experts, and professionals in the space of well being. Today, I'm delighted to have Guru Suraj Gopinath with us. Welcome, Guru Suraj. Wonderful to
Thank
have
you.
you on the show. Guru Suraj Gopinath is a life coach, he's a motivational speaker, he's a personal trainer, and he's a trainer of world class fighters and champions in kickboxing, Muay Thai, and MMA, and he's also a self defense coach. He is also a close advisor to a very spiritual person by the name of Srimat Sadyojat Shankarashram Sadguru Swamiji. And he has also worked as a trainer at the famous Metroflex gym in Long Beach, California. Today, we are going to be having a very interesting conversation with him about his life and about martial arts. And before we do that, we're going to show you a little bit of a show reel. So just stay with us.
Namaste. My name is Suraj Gopinath. I say I'm a guru because the word guru means the remover of darkness. And I believe that in India there's a lot of darkness that came from our colonial era that has ruined our light. And I plan on bringing that light back. The way I plan on doing it is by introducing a concept, a style, a lifestyle called Ashtanga Yudh. Ashtanga Yudh literally means a war with 8 limbs. The concept I got from Muay Thai, which is known as the art of 8 limbs. So I thought about it for a minute and I said, the art of 8 limbs, Thailand, motherland, their culture comes from India. So does Cambodia's. But they have maintained this art so well and preserved it and trained and practiced, and they are the best in the world, undoubtedly. But they respect our culture, knowing that we are the mother culture. And it's unfortunate that we fell under the colonial rule and it destroyed most of our culture. So as far as martial arts goes, we need to accept that our brothers in Thailand and Cambodia, Vietnam and Laos and Burma have our culture that we gave them, and they have preserved it to the best of their ability because maybe, the colonials didn't do as much damage to them as they did to us. But that's all history, and right now the point is we need to do what we can in the present to get India back. India has gone down and gone up many, many, many times. So I'm sure we can go back up again. But it's not going to happen without effort. And my effort is to keep India on top in all aspects, not just science and, be NASA's workforce or Microsoft workforce. I'm talking about India that rules the world.
Wow, that's a wonderful start to our evening today with Suraj ji. It's lovely to have you on the show. And I'll start off by asking you, why do you call yourself Guru Suraj? Do tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the martial art form and made it your life. What inspired you to make it your career?
Well, thank you for having me. Um, well, martial arts has been with me for 32 years now, as we speak. I've been doing it since I was 11. So for me, it comes as part of my life. There is no beginning. It seems like I've been doing it since I can remember. But what it's done for me, it's been good to me all my life. Like it's affected every aspect of my life. For example, when I left home for the first time when I was 18, I did very well in America. It gave me a lot of confidence. And because what we fail to understand is we teach our kids what to think non-stop, not how to think. So what happens is, circumstances teach you what to think. So you can't really prep them for something they're never going to be prepped for. And the things they need to be prepped for, as in how to think in what kind of situation, that we don't give them. So
Yeah.
that's why I call myself Guru Suraj, because even in martial arts, there's a lot of misconceptions, and they correlate with life. So it's very nice, very easy for me to connect with life when I teach martial arts. So it makes sense for me, and that's why I call myself Guru, and I've been doing it for a long time. And people say I make it look easy, and I say, I hope I do, because it's only been 32 years. So yeah, so I'm here to share my knowledge in India. I lived overseas most of my life, so I feel like there is a need for someone with my expertise. There are quite a few good trainers in India, but it's a
Mhm.
big country, and I am where I am, and I'm doing what I can.
Right. So, I mean, where did you train? And you said that you went to the US and you trained and stuff like that. But where did you start your training? I mean, if a little bit more in detail about how it started for you and how long it takes for somebody to become a master in an art form that you have picked, and you also picked a very difficult one. Like I think Muay Thai is supposed to be one of the most difficult formats. That's what I've heard, and deadly ones. So, did you also have, because you come from Kerala, I think, did you also have some background of some Indian martial art like Kalaripayat?
Actually, I was born in Dubai, so there was no Kalari fight there. I was born in
Okay,
1976, so Dubai was very different back then. I'm sure you know that.
okay,
So
right.
I started martial arts. I started in karate. That's all we had.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
1987, October 1987 is when I started. And then
Uh-huh.
I went to America and I switched to boxing and kickboxing. And then
Okay.
I switched to Muay Thai and I studied Muay Thai in Thailand. And I was taught by a Cambodian grandmaster who's a living
Mm-hmm.
legend, so who lived in Long Beach. Long Beach has given refugee status to a lot of Cambodians. So I studied
Okay.
Cambodian boxing, which is very similar to Thai boxing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's different in its own way. So I have multiple martial arts under my belt as far as expertise. But as far as mastering, you there is no such thing in my opinion as mastering an art. Yeah, because it
So
could
it's
be
like
just
it's not like you have in karate where you have certain levels and you keep getting certain belts and things like that. Does it not have something like that? Or
no. In Muay Thai, as far as the sport of Muay Thai, there's only one belt, and that's the championship belt. There's no like other stuff like you said in Japan and all that. But
Mhm.
people focus on the wrong things. They get caught up in the small this stuff rather than the actual efficiency and practicality of martial arts.
Okay. And
And
sorry, go ahead. Yeah, you were
so it's very similar to our education system. We don't focus on the real stuff. We focus on the matter of opinion stuff.
right. Yeah, so true. So, how, I mean, do you feel that like what we are doing in India now, you said that it comes, a lot of it has come. We all know that there is a background of martial art in our own country. And there is, we know that a state like Kalaripayat, which is a very well-known martial art form, is kind of losing its there are not too many takers for it, or it doesn't have any kind of value in today's world. So would you like to just comment on that question?
Well, Kalaripai is not the first martial art. It's the first organized martial art. First
Okay.
organized martial art. There's
Okay.
been fighting for as long as man has been around, and every continent they have their own style of fighting. So,
Hmm.
and Kalaripai is not the oldest, even in India. There are many arts that have disappeared and have reappeared in different names, and there are some arts that were taken by the Chinese 2,000 years back when they came here, and then preserved it in China, and it got destroyed in India. And then the Indians relearned it from the Chinese and call it Chinese martial arts. There's some art martial arts like that also. So there are like 25, 30 martial arts from India itself.
Okay.
So yeah, so but that's not to say that other countries and other parts of the world didn't have their styles of fighting. So that's all
Okay.
debatable. That's it's arguable points. They're not really facts. We don't really have all the facts. But as far as I know, fighting's been around everywhere. But we had a very good science called culinary fighting, which is now like a degenerated version of the original.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
why? I mean, is it because people we don't have enough people kind of creating newer versions of it or letting it evolve into something better, or is it? I
yeah.
mean, why do you think it has kind of fallen apart? And I mean, why
Because
is it?
yeah, well, it's because the people looking for it are not looking for. I mean, the people handling it right now, the people who are the so-called gurus of the art, are basking in the history of the art rather than indulging in the efficiency of the art.
Application? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the efficiency, it has to be efficiency based. Is it efficient today, right now, these days? I mean, there's no point in real combat if you walk around with a weapon that you're not allowed to carry. You're not living in medieval times here. So the
Right.
way if you can't carry it legally in a bus stop, you shouldn't be
Mhm.
wasting 20 years practicing that. Because just like Japan, the old samurai clan are now making
Yeah.
animation and video games and stuff. That's just the
Yeah.
way time went, it's a sign of the times. So we have to
Yeah.
adapt. So that's what I'm doing. I'm glad you said that because the more evolved version that I know of Colorify is the one
Mhm.
I'm creating because I've included all the runaway kids from India back to India,
Okay.
all the runaway arts that were taken or by our own people, and
Right.
I'm bringing them back. And when they come back, they look like a very good Colorify. It's like Colorify is not gone anywhere.
Right.
So instead of complaining about, oh, it's gone, it used to be in the past, it's like take the effective stuff, learn the sequence of how these arts went to different countries, and you'll realize that it's all around the neighboring areas, and
Right.
they have developed it, and they're actually better than they were in the 1800s. We were better in the 1800s than we are now, so that's embarrassing. And we're still
Yeah.
talking about the historical aspects of it rather than the efficiency and the application, because we like our history, and the present requires a lot of courage to be in the present. Yeah, being a historian about things that are long gone that no one can argue about is easy. So that's what we do. We tend to do that as Indians. A
Right.
little more than we should actually. It's
Yeah.
okay to be proud of your history, but to take refuge in your history is it's sort of embarrassing in the 21st century.
All right. So what exactly do you, I mean, if you can share where you kind of have your school and where, I mean, how do people get to know where you are? And if you want to kind of uh, connect with, with students or with people, do you have kind of a center somewhere I mean, if you would like to just share a little bit about that, it'll be nice.
I do teach, uh, but the one point I'd like to emphasize, I'm not very commercial as far as my looking for customers or clients.
Mm-hmm.
I do it because I love it, and I do like most things. I do things that I like, and I do it well. And I don't like to do it under pressure, be it
Okay.
financial or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I've spent enough time in the corporate world, the real world out there, and the main point of me coming back to India is to teach. And they don't have to be VIPs or stars or rich people. As long as
Yeah.
I'm teaching somebody else besides myself and I'm getting that satisfaction, I'm doing a good job, for myself. So at that level, whatever publicity I've been getting, like I met you, I suppose, that wasn't planned. So,
Yes.
I'd like things to happen as it happens. I don't force many things like most people these days, just go, 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 go. And I keep the main point intact that as in I'm doing it for my contentment. I don't plan on being successful with any material action. I plan on being successful in my contentment level. That's why I do most things. So that's why I left the United States because I'm done with the corporate rat race, and I decided never to go back. Not never, but I'm not going back anytime soon. And that's the whole purpose of living in India. As I'm training a 12-year-old boy that's now turned into a 14-year-old boy. and I get more satisfaction out of training with this boy here than I've had training any world champion in the past.
Okay.
Because end of the day, your investment should feel like an investment. Your investment shouldn't feel like a trade. In America it was a trade. How much coach? Okay, here's the money.
Yeah,
You know,
transactional it becomes.
yeah. So I only knew that before. So when I experienced this, that's when I realized that I'm in the right place. I why I came back, why my instincts told me to leave America, because I guess my inner instincts knew what was waiting for me here. I just had to go through a little tough time at first because we have a tough audience here in India, because we do not like our own having skills. Because if I was a European or a Brazilian or a Thai or something of that sort,
Yeah.
anything I said would have been golden and I accepted. So unfortunately,
Okay.
because I come in thy image, people
Yeah.
had to test me at first. So I ruffled a few feathers as you do in this industry. It's not like owning a barbershop. There's a lot of ego in this industry. So a few youngsters tested me. I put them in their place. Some of them learned from me after that. So the youngsters know, what I'm capable of, but I'm really not pushing it. I'm not looking for fighters. I don't find satisfaction in training fighters. But if they do
Okay.
come to me, they will leave with much more than they came. That I promise. But I'd like to focus on the common man, kids, women, because an egotistic person who much rather do this because he has nothing else to do is not the ideal client for me. And fighters have to understand that fighting for money for yourself doesn't make you a great person. It makes you, sort of unfortunately a male prostitute, if you will.
Mm.
A lot of men have this macho image about fighting, but actually, it's the
Yeah.
old,
Yeah.
it's the oldest sport. And if you must stoop to a level where you have to resort to violence and not have the luxury of choosing your longevity as far as
Yeah.
your life health, you're not rich, even if you make money doing that. So
Right.
back in the ancient times, yeah, you were bred for that. A certain caste of people, a clan of people were bred for that. All over the world, we had that. But now, when you have an opportunity to go to college and have a decent job, you watch too many Hollywood movies and you want to become an MMA fighter, and you forget that,
Exactly. Yeah.
99.99% of the people that you see on TV, I mean, that try, don't make it on TV or make any money. What you see
Right.
on TV, that point when. So the odds are against you. It's common sense. But that's where these promoters, they influence these kids with these new movies with MMA and all that. It's actually, we're living in Roman times, bread and circus. And it's not like golf or tennis or any other sport where only some people will like it. Anyone can enjoy two people beating the crap out of each other. So as the depression and recession in the world increases, violence is becoming more and more sellable, you know. So
Yeah.
I try to
Yeah.
walk away from sending more people into this epidemic. So I focus on, common man. Plus fighters don't have any money anyways, So
Yeah.
it's a bad investment, truth be told. And if the fighters watching, they'll agree with me. As yeah, I much rather teach like youngsters that will actually apply it in life and save their life or have the confidence to represent themselves when they go overseas. Not just in a ring where a bunch of people watching them beat the crap out of
Yeah.
each other. I'm talking about the olden times. The reason why in the Gurukuls martial art
So
was
you have
included.
like a Gurukul kind of a format.
Yeah, so I
The
don't have.
student comes and stays with you, and you kind of just completely, it's a holistic education.
Yeah, I
It's
mean they
not just.
can say. Yeah, not all of them do, but I have that facility. I have
Mhm.
one person now that's a
Okay.
live-in, and I have the rest are locals from the area.
Hmm.
And I charge, and I'm not inexpensive for a good reason
Right.
because I'd like to do it. Like I said, this is for my contentment. I don't want to go after contentment and end up having a headache. So
Sure.
I I keep my marketing low. So I don't have much commercial value because I keep it that way. So I've found, I have quality customers. I don't believe in quantity because it's my time, and this takes a lot of effort because I hold pads. It affects my elbows. So my
Right.
body,
Right.
I have to look after myself also.
Yeah. So coming to the question of, I wanted to ask you, what do you do to stay fit and informed? And I've seen some videos of you working out in the sea and on the or in the sand and everything. So if you can just share few you know things and exercises that keep you going, not just physically, but overall, even mentally. And so I think some, details on that will be very nice.
Well, I could give you a very short answer, or I give you a slightly elaborate answer. The short answer is I do yoga.
Okay.
Now, the long answer is the reason I do yoga and what I consider as yoga are completely different than what you may think. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that from the time you wake up till you sleep, you're performing yoga. Because if you do every act in union, you're performing yoga. You're in yoga with the Brahman.
Mm-hmm.
So I do everything with complete ekagrata, with that oneness. It's like
Mm-hmm.
stillness in motion. And
Right.
not everything. I'm sure I drift a lot. I'm like any other person, but the things that I choose to, I can really zone in, and that I
Mm-hmm.
got in. I got that ability, or whatever I feel I can do with it. I guess it is an ability. I got that from martial arts. you
Mm-hmm.
know, because you have to be quick and you have to simplify horrible things, and you have to, the average person won't be able to handle the situation a martial artist can. And there's a big difference between a martial artist who does it to keep fit and a person who has actually fight experience. So I'm talking about someone with fight experience who's actually tested his martial arts and then walked away from it. Actually, so that experience benefits him rather than makes it an obsession and destroys him.
Mm-hmm.
These days, what happens is people get into these fads. A kid goes into a gym to get strong, and he dies young from steroids. Because the coach makes him obsessed. All he wanted was to gain a little weight and
Yeah.
look good in his. All the kid wants to do is,
Performance anxiety comes in, I think, right?
yeah, and the poor kid just wants to look cool in front of his friends. Now he has a
Right.
short life because he doesn't know the seriousness of steroids. His parents doesn't know what he's doing. So,
Mm-hmm.
and online you have all these celebrities endorsing all sorts of supplements and stuff that
Mm-hmm.
causes heart palpitations. There's a lot of
Right.
crap out there. That's why I don't call myself coach and all that, because there are a lot of coaches destroying lives of kids. They don't give it all because they're not done with themselves. You can't be about someone else unless you're done with yourself.
Right.
As far as the material world. Like I would have been
Mm-hmm.
a horrible coach when I was 25. I wasn't ready to just because I could. That doesn't mean I was good. Now I
Right.
actually get a lot of people always tell me how good I am, and it feels
Mhm.
good because now I know it's true because I'm ready to do it. Back then
Right.
I wasn't, and if they did give me a compliment, I knew it wasn't true. Now I
Mm-hmm.
know it's true, and what people say are matching because the time is right. These things can't be forced. I never wanted
Mm-hmm.
to be a yoga coach or a martial arts coach and come back to India doing that. That was not the plan. So life kind of brought me this way, and turns out it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Good to have you back in India, I think.
Thank you. Actually, my
So,
first time.
also, like coming back to something that you said earlier, I think all too often in mixed martial arts, I think the bad guys get a lot of press. Yeah, I think it's like you mentioned that it's some kind of a macho feeling that one gets when one starts getting into this type of activity. So, can you speak of the other side of it? I mean, we do have some well-known role models also, I think, in martial arts. So, there have been some of them. So, would you like to just throw some light on when you said that you are a motivational coach, or when you speak as a motivational speaker? What are the kind of things that one really kind of dwells on or speaks about? So if you can just share a little bit about the areas that one kind of can focus on as a motivational speaker or as a role model for young people now in today's
Okay. What
world.
I would I get that question. Okay. What I would say is do not look for role models, and that's how we got here. We have a fan following culture, and that's part of the problem. So I say do not have role models, and ability and mindset are two things in fighting. And to have the ability to fight, but to not have the mindset to constantly be in that violent mode, it's not a curse; it's a blessing. So that's part of the reason I am here doing what I do. I've had the ability all my life, but I never had the curse of the mindset that comes along with the fighting. I call it a curse because I've lived that life and I've trained with the best in the world. I see the life they live. No offense to their life, but it never works out the way other regular people want. You can't live, the dream life of the picket fence and the American dream that they talk about. Yeah.
Right.
If you tell me that you've picked a career that will give you 5 years of efficiency and then you don't even know what's going to happen to you, that's not a
Mm.
smart move, even if you look like Bruce Lee. You've picked a horrible occupation to spend the rest of your life, just thinking of the past, and all you have is 5 years of efficiency. Yeah, you're
Right.
that movie, and you're that guy in that movie you want to be like, but where's your life going after that? Just like the guy in the movie, nowhere. So people get caught up in this obsession of MMA and any sport. So everything has to be long term. You want to enjoy it till the end. You don't want to hate it by overdoing it. You don't want to get injured because you don't want it to take your life away from you. Because the first thing is you started this to get your life better. You don't want this to end your life. That would be defeat the purpose. That would be a stupid move. It's like getting run over by your own expensive car or something. That would be
Yeah.
stupid. You know, so that's the way
Yeah.
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always wonder, I mean, martial arts and any kind of exercise tends to kind of help you to maintain good health and well-being in a person. So specifically when it comes to kickboxing and MMA and mixed martial art and Muay Thai, is there any specific teaching or is there any kind of special information that is shared with a student in the space of mental well-being and also your mindset? Is there some part of that education, or does the coach then the teacher or the guru customize it for the individual? Did
Well,
you
if he's
get
a
my question?
I get your question. Yeah. Well, it's like any teacher in the world. You got bad ones, good ones. What you should be doing, what you should not. That's all matter of opinion. But I'll tell you what I do. I can talk about that. What I do is
Right.
I tell them about the mindset. The mindset. I tell them that anyone can learn how to kick and punch. But the
Correct.
mindset, that's the part I work on. That's why I call myself guru because I'm not
Right.
a coach. Because a coach
Yeah.
wants to pay rent, a coach wants to rush a kid to a competition, a coach wants people to know him. A guru
Yes.
is someone who's done with the material world and now wants to shine the light on someone else. I don't want to
Yes.
be champion. I've never wanted to be champion. If you must know, I've sponsored world champions financially also, and I won't mention names, but the condition that they reached after they reached their goal was not happy. I mean, I know a
Hmm.
9-time, 12-time world champion. Again, no names mentioned, below the poverty line, because this entire fighting industry is a lie. That's what I'd like to
Hmm.
tell people. It's an entire lie, and they dangle this carrot in front of these youngsters, and they just want to be that guy in these stupid movies, this man-made, this hype. I lived that life, before. I've seen
Right.
many of my friends commit suicide, go down drugs, because there is no off button for this. Once you
Correct.
enter an intense sport like this, if you don't have yoga or meditation or good parents or a wife or friends, you will go
Yes.
crazy. And
Hmm.
now with the medication in America, everyone's on pills, and you have martial arts gone wrong, no meditation, nothing. It's about destroying the other person. There's no balance. This is not to improve anyone's life. This is to destroy another man's life. So it's gone completely wrong. So I'm changing that. While competing in that world and winning, we won't have the side effects as the other fighters. That's where I come in. Just get the benefits of learning how to fight, like our ancestors did. You know,
Yes. Yes.
Arjuna and Karna didn't have brain damage from punching each other in the face. That's stupid. You don't punch each other in the head for a job. I don't care how famous and rich you get. Your head's not right after that. You're not enjoying
Right.
that. Somebody else is. You're gone. So there are other ways to use fighting, and I teach the realist of realist combat. Mine is not a soft art, by no means. I believe if you do something, you do it well. And martial arts, it's martial first, then art. So
Right.
truth be told, I teach to kill and not get killed. But at the same time, I discourage fighting as a sport. I don't think you should reduce yourself to that level as a long-term goal, as a human being. I think those
Hmm.
times are gone. You're not living in medieval times or gladiator times. You won't be able to have a regular job when you're done. The clapping will stop after a while. There's no more cheers after a while. Then reality
Right.
kicks in when rent is due. You're not capable of having a job because your brain is gone. It's a stupid profession, if you ask me.
So how do you bring in, I mean, like, how does one bring in balance into this kind of a sporting thing? I'm sure we have role models in MMA that come and speak up about such stuff, and how to kind of maintain the balance in your lives, not
Uh,
just yeah, or it doesn't exist at all.
there isn't. There's. I would seriously doubt if there's a single successful MMA fighter that can teach anyone anything about having a regular life. Because fighters do not have regular lives. You will not find a motivational speaker that talks about fighting has given me a great family life, fighting has given me a great daddy life. You will never hear that because fighting takes over all that and destroys it. And even in the ancient times, 50 was you're lucky if you reach 50. You're not making any long-term plans with your kids. Trust me, fighters are not
So
doing that.
it's a pretty unrealistic and quite a
Yeah, you do the
unrealistic
math.
expectations are kind of set for young people, and then you're not. I
Yeah,
think
you,
yeah.
you'll be
So
surprised. You'll be surprised how easy it is to become a world champion and how many leagues there are. And this dangling this carrot. Technically, I could start a league tomorrow, a promotion here. Bring a guy
mhm.
from Nepal, bring a guy from Sri Lanka, bring a guy from Afghanistan,
Yeah.
and winner of that, I can announce the winner of that as a world champion.
Huh.
That's
Wow.
what's going on now. There's so many leagues in MMA, kickboxing, boxing. I myself know countless world champions.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's lost its value now because this promoter is trying to make a buck out of youth that are gone astray. Youth with no direction. Yeah, I want to fight. I can do that. I get calls from people all the time, and they tell me like, "Guruji, मैं लड़ेगा किसी से भी लड़ेगा," and I tell them, "ये Bollywood movie नहीं है भाई. मर सकता है इसमें." So, so they haven't seen
What
the.
about all the UFC fans? I'm sure we have a few of them on watching us today. So, what happens to all of this stuff? That
The
it's all
fans are good.
like a mirage kind of.
The fans are good. The fans pay for it. They get what they pay for. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't get brain damage from watching. I'm saying
Right.
it's good to practice these arts to a point where it helps you, not destroys you. And I
Yeah.
think
Sure.
anyone with half a brain should understand that you don't pay to get destroyed. You pay, you put effort, improve. You don't improve anything by getting your head mashed in every day. Nothing improves when you punch each other in the head. Nothing improves. Trust me. You can throw a punch pretty good, but you're not going to be a good accountant. You,
Yeah.
you're not going to be a cashier. You're not going to be a cashier. Trust me. No one's going to hire you to count money because your head is gone. And whatever
Mm.
that short-lived fame you had, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed it because it's over. So I wouldn't recommend that. I don't want India to be known as a country full of fighters, world champions. No. Yeah, like a few good ones. They shouldn't embarrass themselves like in the Olympics as we go and do consistently. Yeah, we can
Right.
improve on that. We can improve on that. But I don't say that the youth of today should take up boxing or MMA as a life profession. No, that's not my message at all. No way.
Nice. Yeah. I think that's very clear and nice, good message for the young people watching.
Yeah, but I say
Which comes to. Yeah.
learn it and learn it well, but don't make it a profession.
So you used the word efficiency a number of times. Would you just like to elaborate a little bit on what you mean by efficiency in the
If it
sport?
works, well, literally, if it works, does it work? It's efficient. Does it work well? It's very efficient. Simple as that.
Okay. Okay, and coming to the question of Muay Thai and your version of you call it Ashtang Yudh, right? So
Ashtanga
it's
yoga.
Ashtanga Yudh. So I want to understand exactly what that means. Like it's like an I think Muay Thai is art of eight limbs or something. So does it come from that same? I mean that uh, phrase. Uh,
To answer your question, it depends on who's asking me the question. Since you're spiritually inclined, I would answer you as saying yama, niyama, pranayama, asana, pratyahara, dhyana,
Wonderful.
samidhi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're a teenager, I would say one, two, three, four, two knees, 2 feet, 8 limbs, ashta anga yud.
Okay.
Depends on who's asking, actually.
Okay. All right. So is it something which you have created, or is it is it a customized thing, or is it something which comes from the original art of Muay Thai?
No, this has nothing to do with Muay Thai. This is much, much, much older than Thailand as
Okay.
we know it itself, or Cambodia and all that. This is from
Uh-huh.
the Shaiva Sampradaya, Goraknath Sampradaya, from
Okay.
way before.
And are you the only teacher of this in India?
Of this, it's like Marsh. It's like saying, are you the only person that teaches the style of walking you walk? You know, it's like, do you teach any? Does anybody else teach how you walk? That's how that question sounds like to me. That's because I know how I made Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is my expression of
Mm-hmm.
how I feel violence should be inflicted and how I feel violence should be confronted and those kind of things. Like I don't fight the same on Tuesdays as I fight Wednesdays or things like that. You know,
Right.
every moment is different. You know, like I breathe, my breath is different, my strides are different every day. I don't walk the same every day, so I fight different every day too. But the important thing is, this is I'm talking about this because this is not learned only. You have to invoke it from within you. You know, just like you, out of 84 lakh species, we're the only ones that go to karate class to learn how to fight. None of them go to karate class.
Right. Yeah.
You understand? All
Yeah.
they do is all they do is stretch and play around and run, and they have the ability to defend themselves. We do none of those things, so we have to go to Mr. Miyagi and join karate class, and we're still not connected with our body or mind. You know, so I teach the real thing. I say I teach the real thing because my moves are polished, natural moves. Like if someone comes to poke me, I go like that. My moves come start from here. It doesn't go like it's not. I call it dandiya. You know, this kind of stuff. It has
Right.
to be natural. So like a monkey
Okay.
would respond if you know like that. You know, these kind of things.
Uh-huh.
Not mechanical, if you know what I mean. So it's easy to learn my art. You just have to be in
Right.
connection with. You have to be connected to yourself.
Hmm.
So yoga is that's why yoga is key.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, coming to my last question for this evening, and we'll take some questions from the audience also. I think we already have a couple of questions that have come in. But I'd like to ask you a question on your spiritual guru and how you connected with him, and also what is your role in your relationship as an Angarakshak? What exactly do you mean by that? So, a little bit of light on that will be nice.
Okay. Well, this is completely off tangent from what we were talking about, but there is a connection. Though. Yeah, there is a connection. Like I said, I've been doing martial arts since I was a kid, and all the things in my life, not just a few things, have some kind of connection with martial arts. So, including my family life and my student life and everything. So, Swamiji is the same. I was spotted on Facebook by the Indian national coach Bala Shetty, and who was in touch with Swamiji. So he saw the video that we posted earlier. He
Mm-hmm.
showed it to Swamiji. Swamiji said, "Bring this man to me. I must meet him." So this man was brought to him, and then I sat, yeah. So and then I sat there, and he played the video again, and he asked me. I never expected someone like that. That's when had, I wasn't used to that. He put his hand on his heart and said, "Would you teach me?" And I was like, "Wow, you know, someone actually noticed it, had me come all the way from Kerala and then asking me, someone of that stature, you know." So
Right.
his humility was what attracted him to me, and because before that I was completely oblivious to anything called the Guru Parampara. I knew of Shankaracharya, that's it, because I lived in Long Beach, California. You don't hear about
Right.
Advaita Vedanta in Long Beach, California, trust me. So, so I came from a very different world. So me and him got along because I was very raw, and I think he liked that rawness about me. I was saying stupid stuff, I'm sure, you know. So he took a liking to me. He took me in, and even me becoming his Angarakshak, I still remember it was after I treated him after a massage. I looked at him and I said, Swamiji, can I be your Angarakshak? It was like a 5-year-old asking for a candy bar, you know. And and he looked at me and he just said, you know, he smiled and said, "You are my Angarakshak." And he had tears in his eyes. And I was like, wow. So it's almost as though he knew of something that I didn't all along. He's just waiting for me to peel the onion and find out, which is what's happening now. It's been 4 years since I met him. So we have many plans together and all that, which I won't discuss a little more
Yeah.
until I have authority to
Sure.
discuss and have that
Yeah.
permission right away. But good things are
Wow.
coming our way. Along lines with that video you just watched. India should be empowered, and you asked me about female empowerment, women self defense.
Right.
One thing I'd like to emphasize is, see, women. See, I'm not talking about feminism or male chauvinism or anything of that sort. If we
Mm.
accept nature for what it is, we can't be selective in that. You know,
Mm.
like there are some things. I'm not going to say the usual stuff everyone says. There are some things man can do that women can't, and that's a generic answer. It's an excuse. The true answer is a woman should learn how to be as woman as possible, and a man should learn to be as man as possible. And what is as man as possible? Prakriti and Purusha is Shakti.
Right.
So to be a strong man, you have to awaken the female side of you, also the female side of you.
Yeah.
you know and this whole concept of male and female itself, people think of it differently. It's not masculine or feminine as such.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are a lot of misconceptions that make people act the way they act or pose the way they pose in life,
Mm.
so that freedom is not there, and the fear comes from lack of freedom. And then they find out that the only person imprisoning themselves is themselves. Then the fear
Right.
goes. So
Mm.
martial arts helps you. The average person's nightmare is your sport. Of course, you're going to be different than the average person. So martial
Great.
arts
So
helps.
take, I mean, you do self-defense sessions for women, right? I mean, you
Well,
do have,
I don't have a
it's
whole
not like
battalion.
specifically for women, it's just a self-defense
Yeah,
coaching.
hands and legs. Everyone's got them. And
Everybody's got.
yeah, but I don't teach. I don't teach everyone the same techniques. I'm not going to
Right.
teach a 45 kilogram, 5 foot inch girl, 5 inch. I mean, 5 feet tall girl the same thing as I teach a 6'4" giant. You know,
Okay.
or a beast person, or no, that's not. And if someone comes to me in the way they are, I teach them how to fight from that day onwards. I don't say, let me get your body fit. In the meantime, if you die, you die in a street fight. No, I'm not like that. I see the, yeah. Because yeah, you have to
Yeah.
start teaching people the minute you come under my, I call it, sharanagati. I teach you how
Yes.
to protect yourself. I don't say 3 months, you're on your own, buddy. If you get killed in the
Yeah.
streets, do
Fast
yoga
track.
every day. Yeah, and I don't say do yoga till that day comes and you die. No,
Yeah.
everything, little bit of everything in every class. Yoga,
Nice.
martial
Yeah.
arts,
Yeah.
everything.
Great. So lovely, Suraj. It was wonderful chatting with you. We have a couple of questions which have come in from the audiences. If the audiences have any more questions, you can please add them to your comments. We will start with the first question. Uh, just give me a minute. Just put it on the screen. So I want to first of all thank you for being with us, Suraj. It was wonderful having this conversation, and I hope we can have few more conversations in future and in person too. So I look forward to meeting with you. And
Thank you.
we have a question from Ame. Just give me a minute. It's there on the screen. So we have a question from Amay Thorat. He says fitness is a major issue today. So do you have any suggestions for youngsters about how to maintain themselves? I think he spoke about it, but you can probably just address it another time.
Basically, I say do what you can. Don't research. 500 different things and not do the five things you know. I think if everyone took it seriously, if you run, if you do yoga, do push-ups, you'll stay in shape. A lot of people know how to stay in shape. They just don't have that drive. They rather research and waste time than actually do what they know.
Yeah. So let's go to the next question. We have one from Zandrine. How fit do you have to be to get into martial arts, and then is there an age limit?
There is no age. I mean, I guess there is. It depends on the individual. It's a general question. 6 years and above is good. And how fit do you have to be? How good do you want to be? That's how fit you need to be. Depends on how good you want to be.
Okay, we have a few compliments also. One from Chitrat saying, getting good insights about the history of martial arts. Thanks, Helium. Thank you, Chitrat, for joining us today. Uh, we have quite a few compliments which have come in. And we have one from Ophelia which says, thank you for demystifying and de-glamorizing martial arts and sports. Good one. And we have one question from Pranav. How are your moves different from Aero Portal? This is a technical
Yeah.
question, I think.
Well, see, the thing is, my, my moves are as different from him as my moves are as different from anybody in this world. He's good at what he does. I'm good at what I do. It's a big world, and you have to just like you researched him, you got to research me. Then you'll know for yourself.
So, Pranav, I hope that answer was useful for you.
Also,
And
I have trained many world champions that fight in Bellator and UFC that like my moves, and I also worked at the Metroflex, where even today people use my moves.
nice. So, with that, I think, do we have any more questions? I think we have covered all of the questions. So, uh, where is your Gurukul, Guru Suraj? Wonderful listening to you. Okay. This is from
Well,
Preeti Panipur.
I'm
Yeah.
located in Kannur, North Kerala, by the beautiful beach of Payambalam. I live on the beach literally, and I'm 1 kilometer from a nice, perfect running beach.
Wow. Nice. So I think we are going to have quite a few visitors to Kannur after listening to your description of where you live. Yeah.
Welcome.
And with that, I think we'll like to thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you
It
for
was
having me.
really wonderful. And we have a lot of compliments that have come in, and people have enjoyed your program. I think there's one from Shweta Singh saying, really wonderful listening to you, Suraj. And so I really want to thank you. I think it was a wonderful session, and we look forward to connecting with you once again. And
Sure.
thank you, audiences, for being with us today. And we'll be coming soon again on February 11th with again a very wonderful session with a person by the name of Sandy Andrade. She is an expert in mindfulness. And till then, namaste and good evening. Have a wonderful evening.